Yeah. They really tried to knock me down, but they didn't knock me down. I've been through some ups and downs, but I still keep my smile. I'ma make my mama proud. I'm a king, I'ma rock my crown. They really tried to knock me down, but they didn't knock me down. Peace, life, and love. We're here with another episode of Peace TV, and you're rocking with your host, Brother Peace. And who do we have today?
I'm Reggie. This is Oakland Hyphae Labs. I appreciate being here, man. I'm really blessed. Came through to check out some of your beautiful artwork, and we decided to make a pod.
Okay, give thanks. Well, I just want to share gratitude to my good brother from Oakland Hyphae, my brother Reggie, man, for coming to support some of my arts resonating, and we both really deep and have a love for the Mycelium Network, you know. So we're going to tap into the frequency of peace today, and I'm tapping about that mycelium, good brother. So I just would like to get your perspective of peace. You know, you with Brother Peace, so I like to get different perspectives of peace in the world because we all view life differently. We all live differently. So yeah. I want to see, what does peace look like to you, good brother?
That's a good question. And for me, peace looks like being happy, being taken care of, you know, being secure. I mean, security for me is big peace, and I don't mean like security in like a violent way necessarily, but I mean security in like, you know where you're gonna lay your head, you know where your next meal is gonna come from, you know that like your rent's taken care of, or that you can put gas in your tank. Because quite frankly, for me, if I'm worried about those things, having peace is tough. You know, oftentimes in times like that, I can find peace in the yoga studio. Peace in the lab. Yeah, actually, that's a big one. Like, for me, I don't necessarily like. I'm not a people person. You know, I'm not the most mixy person in the world. I do events, but other than that, I kind of be to myself. And at the time when I was cultivating, man, it was the process was like therapy. Being amongst the things, literally. There was a point in which I would sleep with them. They would be in my room. You know, that's because they were everywhere. So they were in every room of my dwelling, and I found peace in if I can't go to sleep, all right, I'm gonna get up and check on the tubs. Yeah, I found peace in cultivation, man. But you know, people say peace is a state of mind. I also say peace is a state of being. I look at how you move and how you live and how you embody this name and this thing, and just, you know, we were talking earlier about conversations that we've had, and you don't have to move around the way that you move. You know, a lot of people say that their background makes them a certain way, but like, you have somehow found an admirable level of this thing that we call peace.
I really appreciate you recognizing that and acknowledging that and seeing that, good brother. And for you, I really resonate with your perspective of peace and how you tap into peace. Like, having that security with all the things in your life, like that definitely will definitely amplify that inner peace within you. And tapping in with cultivation, brother. I also would like to get your perspective more about cultivation. Like, a lot of brothers, like, you know, coming from my environment, they might not be aware of like what is cultivation and tapping in with tubs and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So can you share that awareness around that?
Yeah. Well, shit, the way that I will relate it is, you know, maybe we don't come from the exact same places, but situations and similarities, you know, there's some overlap. And so for me, the reason cultivation even made sense was because I was always, my position within the world was in a distribution space. Okay. And so you hear all these rappers talking about, well, I'm going to go find a plug, or I'm about to go do this or go do that. Yeah. It's like, shit, you don't have to go find it. You read a fucking book. And now you're the plug. Okay. And so, like, in a very relatable sense, cultivation makes the most sense. Like, if you have a closet and you're involved in this plant medicine space, there's no need for you to go buy your things from somebody that don't look like you. There's no need for you to go buy your things from somebody that don't even live in your house. You can do it yourself and save money. So even if you just on a consumer basis, getting into cultivation saves you a couple $100. If you just cultivate your own, one round in one tub can give you enough if you're doing microdoses and things to take care of your needs for a year. 3 tubs, if you're doing large doses, can take care of your needs for a year. And it's not rocket science. Most people have access to all the things that we need to cultivate. If it's on a small scale, you don't need these labs and these things that people are talking about. All that's people trying to make themselves seem way smarter than they actually are. There's my man, if you tag him on this, there's my man Magicianal Explorer. My man Tim, he's in Detroit right now. He has a very low tech way where all you need is a box fan and a filter, and you can make yourself a homemade flow hood. And then you invest $150 in starting out, and that'll bring back within 2 months. You could probably bring back 1,000 just there, and then upgrade, and so it's for me, it's relatable. It makes sense. You don't have to go see Poppy to be a plug. You can actually pick up a book and go find some spores off the internet, because they're on the internet, and you off to the races. That's what I did.
That's powerful. Give thanks for you touching on cultivation and just encouraging our brothers and sisters that, like you said, you could just read a book and take the time to learn and put the intention in behind it and connect with people who are educated and can support you around that. So I feel like it's very necessary for us to get more into cultivation, working with these plant medicines, working with fungi, because these are ancient tools that our ancestors been working with in indigenous times, but in this Eurocentric society, we've been conditioned to view it in a negative light, especially us melanated brothers and sisters. So that's why I'm very grateful to have the brother in this space to touch on that and just being a reflection of a brother like me and someone who has the no fear to want to tap in and step out his comfort zone and want to learn more about these entheogens. I love how you said cultivation brings peace to you, brother, and I really want to share different examples of peace, because my version of peace, his version of peace, may not be that version of peace for you, and we encourage y'all to definitely dive in deep and to reflect on the things in your life that support that inner peace. When did you first get into mushrooms, good brother? Because me personally, I got into mushrooms around 2016 on my journey. I got into the mushrooms here in Richmond, California. It was a good sister that I was working with at a job called Blue Apron, and she just got on my team on a shift and stuff like that. And I smoked a lot of weed, you feel me? But at the time, I wasn't fully aware of the mushrooms. But she would just she had this cool hippie vibe. She had locks like me, but she would just always smile at me and cheese. And I was like, "What's up, sister?" And she's like, she had a cool vibe. And we started connecting and smoking and stuff. And then eventually, she just started bringing to my awareness, planting them seeds. You heard about the mushrooms? And I'm like, I heard of mushrooms, but I never really tapped into them. And she just kept bringing them up. It's like, I think they'll be good for you, man. You should tap in with the mushrooms. I'm cool. But she just kept planting the seeds, and then it would just pop up in my mind. Sometimes I'm at home, so I'm just, we got YouTube, so I just started looking on YouTube and listening to different people's experiences and how it affected them and helped them, assisted them on their journeys. And I'm like, wow, okay. Well, this is interesting. And she brought them up again. This time I was receptive. And with her, I told her I'll be down and maybe we can plan a day where we can go tap in. And we scheduled a day. She went to go get some from the plug. You feel me? And she went to go get some mushrooms from the plug. And then she had got about an eighth. So we shared an eighth together. And my first experience, man, it was very divine, I would say. We were smoking and vibing and stuff, but we were watching cartoons. And we were in a good, peaceful setting. So we were like in her garage chilling here in Richmond and watching some cartoons. And I just started going through different waves and shit, feeling like hella happy and excited. Like just hella joyful, bro. And like the cartoons and shit just looked hella animated, like just hella more like 3D-ish kind of like. And I just noticed myself going in different phases, like kind of just thinking deep about life and stuff like that and reflecting on many of things. And it was a period when she left me by myself. And I went deep into myself and like went back into like some past shit that I may have suppressed. So some past shit came up, but it helped me like process it and reflect on it, but then release it, so I felt so much like I went through a process where it felt kind of hard, and I went through some emotions where I shed some tears, and then all of that released, bro, and my spirit felt so light and divine, bro. And then she came out of nowhere and just hugged me, bro, and just embraced me, and that was my first time doing mushrooms, bro, and it was a beautiful experience. And then when I experienced that, I was just like, wow, it really opened my mind to like, I really been conditioned to view these as a negative light. These are not drugs, whatever these people are saying. And I started just embracing them and learning more about them and tapping in with them.
Yeah.
And then since I tapped in on my whole life has changed, bro. Like that's how I came with the name Brother Peace. Tapping in with mushrooms, going out into nature. And you know, when you be by yourself off the mushrooms, you get a lot of deep, eternal like thoughts and things that come to you. And that peace vibration just was coming heavy. You feel me? And a week after that, I ended up getting shot. You know, 4 times. You feel me? And that impacted me. And that really tested that peace that came to me. And I had to really sit down and really reflect like, you know, this name Brother Peace came to me, but do I really want to be this peace? You know, and that's something that was sitting on me, and I was having negative thoughts and stuff, but still would ingest the mushrooms and tap in with some sea moss and the herbs, and it really helped me heal and get back on my feet, bro, and release a lot of that pain and trauma. So that's how I just developed so much respect for the mushrooms, and now that I reflect that in my lifestyle, and it's connecting me with brothers like you and other brothers who are on the path of the mushrooms and have many testimonies as well. So I just would like you to share your testimony, like how did you first come across the mushrooms?
Okay. So with me, the first time I ever came across mushrooms, I was at Boy Scout camp. I remember that. I was a Boy Scout, and I was like a junior counselor or something. You know, I was too young to be a real counselor, but like definitely like not Boy Scout age. And one of the counselors like asked me if I want. We all smoked weed, but he asked me if I wanted some shrooms. I'm like, what are those? And he says, you know, you eat them and you see things and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Fast forward to, what is it? Maybe it's like 2000, 2001, you know, high school time. And I remember that I was interested in like drugs, nothing more than like, I was interested in hallucinations specifically, and so I heard of the mushroom and I heard of LSD. You know, the mushroom was cool with me because I felt like anything that was chemical could like fuck you up. So I would only do weed and now mushroom. So long story less long, I found the mushrooms, and me and some of my friends. My white friends, because my black friends wouldn't take them. We took them. I remember we sat under this deck and we took them. And I remember it was like drizzling that day. And I had to walk home about 2 miles on these fucking mushrooms, and it felt like I was walking through like a wade pool, like a kiddie pool. Yeah, it felt like that. But I remember the takeaway for me, and this might be a strange takeaway, but I remember my takeaway was, like, sell these mushrooms. Like, sell the mushrooms. I remember the white boy said to me, he says, dude, how much for an eighth? And at that time, I didn't know how much an eighth was. I didn't know anything about anything. But I did the math and figured out, oh, I can make money. And so I started selling the mushrooms. And, you know, I remember, you know, your experience, you had a lot more guidance in it than I did. I had to find my way to the divinity of it. You know, I realized that there was something prophetic about them, but like, I'm like, okay, because it told me to sell the mushrooms. I started selling the mushrooms, and I was wildly successful at it. And I remember being in school, on the school bus, because I have all these fucking mushrooms with me. And I remember me and my man both ate eighths before school.
Damn.
And boy, I think about that shit a lot. I remember, first of all, I don't know how I got through that day of school, but I got through the whole day. The whole entire day. I remember specifically walking into English class, and like, I guess I was peaking at that time, and I remember walking to English class, and I pulled the desk from one side of the room to the other side of the room and put it facing into the corner and just put my head down. And the teacher didn't bother me. But it started getting divine for me around, I went and worked on mushroom farms in Europe. Oh, wow. And I remember the person I was working for had a house in Switzerland, and we had everything, any type of mushroom you wanted. And so I took an eighth of some Copelandias. And Copelandia, most mushrooms that people are taking these days are cubensi mushrooms, different types of cubensi. They're good, they're easy to grow, but they're not as potent as some of the non-cubensis. And so Copelandia is a non-cubensi variety that has, at least twice the potency of the average. And I took these. These are the mushrooms that they call like the addiction breakers. And I figured this out, before people were writing this stuff in books. I think at that time I smoked cigarettes, and I remember taking these, and I had a very divine experience. But the biggest takeaway was I remember I woke up, and I was in the basement. I came upstairs and looked out to the mountains, and the desire for me to smoke anything was gone. Totally gone. It baffled me. I didn't want to do it at all. And then when I started to tap into the ancestral part of it, was in a trip that I took in Brooklyn. At that time, I had no access, but I just so happened to come across somebody who had a pound, and I bought the pound, and everybody I knew wanted mushrooms, so I could resell that pound, but then keep some for myself. So I took an eighth, and that time I remember I took this eighth and I listened to Jay Electronica, like his whatever album he had. And if you look at the lyrics that Jay Electronica puts together, he writes songs called like diethyltryptamine, and a DMT, things like he writes songs like that about hallucinogens. And if you listen to his music while like tripping, it keys you into it. And while listening to Jay Electronica, I went deep within, and that's when I was introduced to the ancestors, and they said, welcome home, welcome back. And this experience I was telling you about on the hike, it's like, and ever since then, it's been very clear to me that the mushrooms are ancient technology, because it is divine. For me, I don't fuck around with mushrooms. Some people, and I don't judge these people, but it's just not me. Some people trip balls all the fucking time. Like, for me, it's not fun. It's like, it's not fun. And so I reserve my big doses for when I need guidance, when I'm lost and I need guidance, or when I need a reset. And for other than that, for me, it's microdoses. Because microdoses, for me, replace Adderall. I couldn't keep a regular job without having to take Adderall to pay attention. And when I took a little bit of magic mixed with a little bit of lion's mane, it replaced that and helped keep me focused. So yeah, that's my piece.
That's powerful, bro. You really went deep, and that's a beautiful journey, going into the mushrooms. And I appreciate you just being vulnerable and sharing that with us, man. Because I know many of us out here who are tapping into these fields, there are many different experiences that people are being introduced to the mushrooms and mycelium. So that's why I just wanted to get your perspective, brother. You feel me? And I appreciate you coming through and tapping in with the art, man. You feel me? I was able to share some of my art at the Oakland's first psychedelic conference.
Yeah,
so,
appreciate you being there. Appreciated you performing as well. Your energy was second to none, and hopefully we can have you down in California at the California Psychedelic Conference. And I hope to have a bunch of this art down there that you can vend as well, and that people can go get. It's beautiful, melanated mushroom ancestral art that you make, and they're original pieces.
How do you feel about tapping into these conferences and the importance of these conferences?
For me, so I always had various jobs, and the longest regular job that I had was as an organizer, both political organizer, meaning running like campaigns, but also for like things like education, or like I remember the thing that, and he was in the room when I first started this, when Trayvon got shot, and we just wanted to do something, but we didn't know what to do. So we organized a concert and then gave Trayvon's parents the money. And so for me, there's always been a level of activism in everything I do. And I know that, I'm not going to please everybody with the way that I express, what I'm trying to do for the community overall. And, there's space for other people to express the way that they want to express. But the way that I want to express is empowering people. They talk about you can give a man a fish and he gonna need you all day. But if you teach a man to fish, they can go out and feed themselves and feed their family for generations, because now they have a skill that they can pass down. And so for me, my objective is not to get into a room and sell some tickets. My objective is to create a space where the people on stage are secondary. The most important thing about the spaces that I want to create are the people in the room. Bringing people who have resources to people who might not have been able to access these people. Making sure that people who I see out here doing work that may not have been elevated by the powers that be, I can put them next to somebody, and now, now everybody has a look. I want to make sure that people who have, artwork like this, that ordinarily, some people in LA might not have seen or might not get a chance to be exposed to. So now, now we go down to LA and Brother Peace leaves his mark and his mycelial web can grow. For me in my space, it's about education, it's about connection, it's about expansion, and now it's about empowerment. The people that come to my things, if you come in the right mind state, you can, and these aren't things that are financial, but I want people to financially prosper from these spaces. That's what they're designed for. Or I want you to prosper in terms of your community connections and your deepening of community. There's nothing that makes me more happy when I look on the internet and see people hanging out that met at the Oakland Psychedelic Conference. There's nothing that makes me happier.
I wanted to say, bro, because of that conference, I met so many people, bro, and like you see, I be rocking with Rob and Tony. Like Rob live right down the street, bro. Like that's crazy how these dots connected, and I'm creating friendships and bonds and building with people. So I just want to say appreciation and gratitude for that conference, brother. You made history. You opened up many doors for many people and connected a lot of people who are in these works that wasn't even aware of each other, brother. So I see that these engagements in these conferences and these events are very necessary, and I look forward to keep seeing them grow and evolve. And I'm here to support, brother, and I'm grateful to be involved as well. So much respect and gratitude, brother. Yeah, man. I'm into this mushroom music as well, man. The brother really resonates with a song I got called No Cap. Hope that we can make something big out of that, where we can collab on some stuff and create a divine visual, man, to just inspire the masses, about these mushrooms, these technologies, and
I'm gonna speak it into existence right now. We want D-Rock the Menace, and we want William Padilla Brown on a No Cap remix. I said it right now. We gonna make this shit happen.
Okay. Speak that shit into existence. Speak life into that, man. Yeah, man. You still rocking with Brother Peace on this interview, so I want to tap back into some peace, brother. So when it comes to that frequency of peace, how do you feel like we can have more peace with our brothers and sisters out here, man? Here in America, through all the conditionings and shit we've been through a lot, bro. And many of us are doing similar works and stuff like that, but it's a lot of separation and stuff. How could we just have that peace and harmony, bro? From your perspective, man.
From my perspective, I think that, if I'm being honest, I think that within this space, we can find peace amongst ourselves if we kind of pay attention to ourselves. I think that if we spend a lot of time looking at what other people are doing, they say, what's the saying I'm looking for? Basically, I'm looking for a saying that is basically summing it up, saying that if you're looking at what somebody else is doing, you're not focused on yourself. You're not moving forward. I think that, the community is small. I think that the game of telephone can be funny. And so I think, secondary information is always never going to end up well. I think that the he say, she say game is never going to end up well. I think pocket watching is never going to end up well. And at the end of the day, I do subscribe to, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Like there's a level of maturity to, hey, we don't necessarily have to work together on everything or even be in the same space, but we don't have to be at odds. There's some rapper that says, you just do you and I'm gonna do me. And there's a level of peace to that. And that's it. It's sometimes it can be, And also, I think that being flexible to how people move. I think that oftentimes in spaces there might be what people might interpret as violations that happen, and people need time and space to separate themselves from violations before they necessarily feel like addressing violations or dealing with violations. Whereas some people, if there's something wrong, they want to deal with it right then and there. Like I think there has to be space for both. I'm the type of person where, I'm moving around quite a bit, and I was talking to my family the other day about this. It's like there's some situations in my space where I have to make decisions on, am I going to hang out and have, dinner conversations with my family? Am I going to go watch this basketball game with my best friend? Or am I going to spend this time, addressing some stuff that somebody did? And these are real trade-offs that you have to make with what you do with your time. My trade-off is, right now I'm going to invest in those who invest in me. And when time frees up, or as time frees up, or as time goes by, I'll go back and try to reconcile some of those things that need reconciling when time frees up. But yeah, that's my version of how we can find peace in this thing. Is just kind of, I guess, sum it up. You just do you, and I'm going to do me if all else fails.
Give thanks for sharing that, your perspective around that, brother. And yes, me personally, I resonate with that frequency of peace so much. It has done a lot for me in my life, and really just would like to see more just peace and harmony amongst people. Like you said, even if we don't agree on everything, like it could still just be peace, no disrespect. I'm not trying to make you look bad. I'm not trying to speak bad on your name or anything like that. So just want to keep that energy going and circulating, and want to encourage more of that peace and harmony in the spaces of our people. You feel me? Is there anything else you feel like we should touch on or share with the people, good brother, from your wisdom?
If these are my closing words, I'll take 1 minute to say some stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. First of all, I want to thank you for taking the time out to do this. We really did kind of thread the needle on this, but I appreciate you. I appreciate the artwork, and again, hit up Brother Peace for an amazing. I only have this one piece, but y'all should see there's so much work around me right now that he's produced. That's amazing. I need a bigger budget so that I can decorate my lab with more of his stuff. That's number one. Number two, you're not going to want to miss you're not going to want to miss the California Psychedelic Conference. It's going to be taking place on April the 23rd and 24th in Los Angeles, California. This is going to be the one. I've had more time to plan this than ever. My vision is very, very clear. I've been talking to some people. I want to bring y'all a one-on-one thing. There's events, there's psychedelic events, and then there's the shit that I do. And the shit that I do is different. And and I'm not even at this point. It's me stating it's going to be impactful is what I'm saying. And so if you want to tap into the healer community, if you want to tap into the cultivator community, if you want to tap into the business community, to the therapist community, or any other community that I might be leaving out, come. Because everybody's going to be there, and it's not all about the people who are on stage. Like I'm telling people, the people who are on stage are just an excuse to bring everybody else into the room. That's where the magic's going to happen. So you can get the tickets at Oakland_Hyphae. There's a link in my bio. Grab them while they last. When I say the shit sells out, every single time the shit sells out, and we're on track here. So yeah, and be there, be square, I guess. I'll see y'all.
Give thanks to Oakland Hyphae and his organization, his team, and stay tuned. Definitely tap in, because at that Oakland Psychedelic Conference, it was magical, it was divine. I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of powerful, unique, interesting people who got a lot of respect and love for the Mycelium Network, man. So we want to continue spreading the spores. We want to continue connecting these webs, you feel me, and just connect like the Mycelium does, you feel me, and expand. The mycelium expands within the roots of the earth and communicates and things of that nature. So we want to reflect that in humanity, man. So give thanks to Oakland Hyphae. Tap in with the brother. Tap in with Brother Peace. I got peace prints, peace art, peace jewelry, peace vibes. It's a lot of much love in all of my expressions. So you feel free to donate to Oakland Hyphae. Feel free to donate to Brother Peace.
If you're going to donate to Oakland Hyphae, just donate to Brother Peace. and by donating to Peace, you donating to me. That's what it is.
Ashe. So stay tuned for more of these vibes. Look forward to seeing Brother Peace rocking with Oakland Hyphae out in LA. However that aligns, I'm going to be out there. I'm going to tap in with the folks and want to document and share some of these vibes with y'all, man. So stay tuned for more of these organic vibes from Peace TV. Peace and love.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, they really tried to knock me down, but they didn't knock me down. I've been through some ups and downs, but I still keep my smile. I'ma make my mama proud. I'm a king, I'ma rock my crown. They really tried to knock me down, but they didn't knock me down. I'm Brother Peace coming out of Richmond.